Emil Nold was born in Denmark in 1867, but his birth name was Emil Hansen. Nold grew up in a Protestant family with 3 brothers. A little later on in his life, Nold had a 4-year apprenticeship as a woodcarver. Because of his apprenticeship, Nold discovered his love of art and eventually was able to study art. When a few of his early works were sold as postcards, Nold began as an impressionistic painter who was invited to join a group of expressionists because they were impressed by his work. He joined them but didn't stay in the group long. Nold was inspired by the way the West Indies had an unsophisticated belief, which led to many of his paintings. Later on, the Second World War began in 1939 when Hitler invaded Poland, which caused Britain and France to declare war on Germany soon after. Adolf Hitler was an artist who tried to get into a fine arts academy, but was rejected. Some historians say that his rejection to art school led to his hatred of the Jewish community, since many of the people at the arts academy that rejected him were Jewish. He, along with the rest of the world, was in a depression after World War I, and Hitler saw his chance to rise to power and took it by creating his own political party, called the Nazi Party. Nold was 66 years old when World War II hit and he joined the Nazi Party. Nold often wrote to his friend about how much of a genius he thought Hitler was. All Nold wanted to do was please Hitler, but was crushed when Hitler hated his expressionistic style, which then led to Hitler putting Nold's paintings in his degenerate arts exhibit. One of Nold's popular paintings, Masks, were painted in 1911. The painting shows Nold's interest in non-Western cultures. Nold got the idea of the painting Mask by studying different types of masks at the Berlin Museum. Mask is supposed to represent multiple cultures in one painting. The painting hung in the Folkwang Museum in Germany before the painting was taken down and considered degenerate. When Hitler considered his art degenerate, he took many of his pieces of art and put them all up in the degenerate art exhibition. Eventually, Mask was taken down and sold in an auction run by the Nazi Party to Karl Buchholz. He and a few others set up a place outside of Berlin where they would sell around 6,000 pieces of art they bought from Hitler's auction. But they weren't able to sell many of them since they were all considered degenerate and disgusting. This led them to burning tons of paintings and to keep some as well. He kept Nodell's painting Mask. Years after the war, he sold the painting to a museum in New York in 1948. The Nelson Atkins Museum bought the painting in 1945 and has been there ever since. The Nelson Atkins Museum is known for its Asian art, not German art. I believe the painting should go back to the Hare. The Hare was a Jewish merchant by the name of Kurt. Kurt was forced to give up the painting to the Nazis. Since April of this year, it has been decided that the painting should be returned to Kurt's heirs. Criticism today, and there is a debate today whether or not his painting should be shown since he was a Nazi and did terrible things during World War II.